Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me? All hear me okay? Great. Fantastic. It's beautiful to see how many of you are here, knowing that if I had the choice, I might have gone to the beach today too. So it's a beautiful day. So we're glad to have you here with us. If we've never met before, if you don't know me, I'm Reverend Israel Bufardi. I use he, him for pronouns. I'm the minister here at this congregation, at this fellowship. On your way in here this morning, you might have noticed that there's a pride flag flying out front. The one that is out there this morning was put out yesterday sometime. I don't know exactly what time. The reason for that is that the last one was taken down by someone overnight on Friday. That pride flag has been ripped down from that pole more times than I've kind of lost count of how many times it's happened now, even in the short amount of time that I have been here. But every time that someone takes that flag down, we put up another one. Almost immediately, within hours usually. Sometimes, at least a couple times, it's been a makeshift little mini plastic one out there just to hold a place so that people know what we're about. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter that we have to keep putting it up, because we will. We'll keep putting it up. And we know that polyester isn't magic. Does not have magical powers. But we do this because we know that welcome has to be visible, especially right now. Trans and queer people are not symbols to us. They are our children, our parents, our ministers, our elders, our members, our neighbors, our community. The persistence of that flag out on that sign on our street is one way that we practice welcome here. Here's one more for you. Find someone near you that you don't know and say good morning. That's another way to practice welcome. We're going to need each other today, as always. Is this in your way? Do you want me to move this? Okay. I think you could even use it, possibly to hold it. Okay. Okay. If you need to move it, you can. Let's let the music take us in.
Good morning, and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Huntington. I'm Karen Mazzato, your worship associate this morning, and my pronouns are she and her. Whatever brought you here today, we're glad you came. If religious spaces aren't your usual thing, welcome especially. Unitarian Universalism is a religion for people who come to it sideways. You can be skeptical here, you can have doubts, you can show up not knowing what you believe. Most of us found our way here because we needed a religion that didn't ask us to leave parts of ourselves at the door. Unitarian Universalism put love at the center. Love over doctrine, over certainty, over any one belief. We're famous, in fact, for not telling people what to believe. But love at the center makes demands, and sometimes love asks us to plant a flag, to say a belief out loud where it can't be missed. So we say, trans people are who they say they are. Immigrants are our neighbors, even when the government says otherwise. People decide what happens to their own bodies. Climate justice is the work of our time. A free press, a fair vote, and accountability for the powerful are how a democracy stays alive. Justice is what love looks like in public. Love at the center means love that speaks up. So we keep saying these things, even though we hoped we wouldn't have to. A few practical things. During hymns, do what feels right. Sit or stand, sing, hum, stay quiet. For everything else, move how you need to. Be alive and be yourself in this hour, and stay for coffee or tea after. Today is all ages worship. The kids are with us this whole hour. They'll wiggle, they'll whisper, they might make some noise. We consider that a sign of a healthy room. Same applies for the grown-ups. In the back, there are fidget toys and art supplies if you're interested and need them. A few quick announcements today. Our budget forum is today, following service at 12:15. This is an opportunity to hear what the board is proposing and ask questions. Childcare will be provided. Please save the date for our annual congregational meeting, June 7th at 12:15. Members will receive an e-blast with the agenda and links to proposed 2026-27 budget, as well as bios for our new slate of officers. And please see our weekly e-blast, the Fellowship Flash, out on Thursdays for many wonderful activities, including a support group for caregivers, a rally for transgender rights, a new member recognition Sunday, May 31st, and so much more. And you can sign up for that on the website. And now I'll come forward to light our chalice, the symbol of Unitarian Universalism. Israel, the chalice is missing. Do you know what's up? A note. What does it say?
It says Rev.
Okay, go for it.
Let's see what it says. The chalice is missing today. 4 clues will help us find what holds the light. We find them one at a time. We have to make a way. But then it says, gather first, let separate fires kindle one flame. I feel like I know that line from something. Anybody else? Anybody else know that line? All right. How about the next slide to show us the next portion here? There we go. There's our next clue. Let's start by gathering together. Okay, so according to this note that was left here for me, if anybody doesn't know, our chalice is missing. You just come into the room. According to this note, there are 4 clues hidden somewhere in the room. Now, I need, according to the note too, I can't do this by myself, so I need you to help me find the clues. So somewhere in the room, we have a clue labeled number 1. Who's going to help me find it? Take a look around. Anybody find number 1? Is that number 1? Would you open it up and tell us what it says?
It says, don't only look at what's missing.
Don't only look at what's missing. Okay, so what isn't missing? What's still there on the where the chalice normally would be? What do we see there? The snuffer. We have lots of other tools, it looks like. Yeah. We have a snuffer. This is for putting the chalice out. We have a chime. I don't know if that was intentional. Something to help us come together, something that brings us, that helps us gather. We have something that we use when it's time to go. And I heard someone say, what, this? Right here? The candle, the pilot light, as I like to call it. This, what do we do with this? What is this for? We use it to light the chalice, that's right. And does anybody know how this got lit? You know, actually, I don't know. I don't know. A match or possibly a lighter, but more importantly, matches don't light themselves, do they? No. So normally what we would do, right, of course, is light the chalice from this. But this is lit by someone who gets here early and does it for us. A volunteer, a helper. A reminder right here on our chalice table that most of what holds us up was here before we even noticed it. And we didn't have to notice it, but it's still holding us up, still helping us gather. Thich Nhat Hanh, the late great Thich Nhat Hanh, used to say that when you really pay attention to a cup of tea, you find the rain in it, the cloud that the rain came from, the soil, the farmer. You might have heard these things before. These are entrees into mindfulness practices. But what they really are is a reminder that nothing is just itself, that everything is held up by something else. It's the same with our chalice, I think. At least I have a suspect that that's whoever wrote these clues is trying to get us to see, to notice what is really supporting us. Even when we see things, even when it's most obvious to see what it's missing, there is so much more. So I think the clue is asking us to pay attention, and to pay attention to what's already here and how it's got here. Now, we have a few more clues to go. Who knows where number 2 is? Who can help me find number 2? We have it? Where's number 2? Okay, I'm going to come down and give you the mic so you can read clue number 2 for us. I'll hand you them. You want to take that first? You got to talk right into that one.
Ask what it's for.
Ask what it's for. Huh, okay. Hold on to that for a minute. We might need something else on there, but don't turn the paper over yet. So what is a chalice for? Who wants to? Anybody? Shout it out. Holding the flame, yes. It's the vessel that holds the light, that holds the flame, right. What else? It helps us start the service. It gets us going. That's right. It's our ritual thing that signals what we're about to do. Anything else that we want to add? It's the symbol of our religion. That is very true. Now, does anybody know the origin story of the chalice? Does anybody know where it came from? Say it again. Yeah, yeah. Can I have the, where's the mic? Oh.
World War II, the
Yeah.
Unitarians were trying to
Yeah,
they wanted to look like an official organization. So they
that's right.
had a symbol, and they chose the chalice because it was related to Unitarian history. And then religious education classes, kids started making the chalice into a flag, and then they would pair those together, and
Yeah. You got it. So, we did not even need our clue on the back. There's a little more to that story here. I'll share some of it with you too. So, it's okay. It's likely that not everybody heard what you said, so that's why also I'm going to repeat it. So the back card of that clue says 1941. That's the origin of the chalice, if you didn't know. So what happened in 1941? The chalice is actually much older than that because it was based on images, cups that held sacred fire that would go way back to Greek and Roman temple times. Much older than any one of us. Much older than 1941. But the symbol of that circle with the chalice in the middle and the flame on it is from 1941, during World War II, like we just heard. So what happened was in the 1930s, an Austrian Jewish artist named Hans Deutsch was living in Paris, making a living drawing cartoons that mocked Hitler. This was before the Nazis invaded in France. And when the Nazis came into Paris in 1940, Hans Deutsch lost everything for a second time, actually. He was already a refugee in Paris from his native Austria. And he had to flee Paris. And he went through southern France and then to Spain and eventually made his way to Portugal, which is where a lot of people at the time, a lot of refugees did end up, with a forged passport, which was an extraordinarily risky thing to do at the time. And in Portugal, he met an American Unitarian minister whose name was Charles Joy. And Charles Joy was running an organization that still exists, more or less, called the Unitarian Service Committee, an underground network that was getting people out of Nazi-occupied Europe. And they worked actually mostly with artists and other creative people, philosophers, artists, teachers, people like that, people who espoused philosophies, ideas, who were thinkers, who had these ideas that were really dangerous to fascism. But the two of them became sort of friends. They got to know each other, and Joy, the Unitarian minister, went to Hans Deutsch with a strange problem for a clergyman to have. He needed a symbol. He didn't have a symbol to use for his organization, for his religion at the time. And so he needed something that would look really official, that could be stamped onto documents, that could even be forged, perhaps, on fake documents to get people out. The thing that is really important to know here is that a document that looked official could be life or death for somebody. It would be really important for them. And so he needed something that was convincing. So he drew a flame inside a cup that a lot of people in Europe recognized as something that represented freedom and knowledge, because it had these connotations from old temple times. Now the really funny thing I think about Hans Deutsch is that he had never been inside a Unitarian church in his life. He was actually an atheist, and he described himself as a godless fellow. And he said that he actually said of what he was doing with the minister Joy, he said the work that he and his network were doing, risking their own lives so total strangers could keep theirs, was the only version of religion that he could believe in as an atheist. That's faith in action, a religion that went out into public and risked itself. So the central symbol for our religion today, if you didn't know, some of you did know, was designed by a Jewish atheist refugee who had never set foot in a Unitarian congregation. And that little drawing went onto every UUSC document, and agents wore it as a badge, and it got people to freedom. And for its first 40 years of existence, it was a symbol on paper. It had that history. But we didn't start putting chalices in rooms like this and lighting them on Sunday morning until the 1980s. So in our tradition, if you don't know, the symbol of the chalice, what it is for, what it is really for, is a promise that says, help is here, that says, we will help you. A promise to refugees, to people in hiding, to anyone that is afraid of what power might do to them. That's the origin of why we light one every week. A reminder of that need for that beacon, to remember what kind of people we want to be. So if the chalice is missing today, I might not just ask about the physical object. I might ask, what about the promise that it carries? Where does it live now? I think maybe it's time for our third clue. Anybody know where that one is? I'm going to come down with the mic so you can read it out loud. Just wait for me. What does it say?
A vessel is filled by welcoming.
Want to try
A
one more time?
vessel is filled by welcoming.
It says a vessel is filled by welcoming, with a question mark. What other things do we do here that create welcome? A chalice being a vessel. What other things do we do with light that might create welcome here? Anybody have an idea? We call this moments of the heart. We call this moments of the heart. It's another way that we make space to fill up our community with what we bring, with the light that each of us brings, so that we can be reminded that to go out into the world and to do those hard things that chalice means, that we need each other to build up strength and to know who we're with in this work. That's why we do this. Some of what we carry alone is heavy. Some of it is light and joyful. When we bring it here, the room community helps us carry what is heavy. And when we bring the things that are joyful and we share them, it makes a difference. It makes a difference in our lives. When you came in here, you should have been handed a card. If you weren't, you can raise your hand and we'll make sure you get one. What you're invited to do is to write down on that card a joy, a sorrow, or a complex truth that you'd like witnessed in community. You don't have to do this, but if you're carrying something in your heart that you want witnessed in community, that's what the card is for. And you're invited to bring it up during the music in a moment and hand it to one of our pastoral care associates. Where are you today? Martha is here today. When you come up, even if you have a card or don't, you're invited to light a candle, to bring some of your light to our communal vessel that we share here. Anyone can light a candle. One thing I notice as we're asked to pay attention a little bit more maybe to what we do here on Sunday, this ritual act that we perform by lighting these candles. We might place a lot of emphasis on the chalice, being the symbol of our faith, being the thing that starts our ritual, being our guiding light. But one thing that I think is really important to see is how much more light all of these candles create in this room. How it grows from one small light to many. And those lights represent many things. Joys and sorrows, complex truths, everything we bring, all of our concerns. And all of our collective power to affect change in the world. To show up for each other, to help each other. For all of these things that we carry. I hold in my hand the stuff of life, the stuff of our lives from this week. This first card says that this week would have been Esme Klatsky's 4th birthday, and we miss you and we love you. This person is happy to have found a place to connect to their inner beliefs, they say. And my loved ones lost too soon. Our room holds all of that for us this morning. And these 2 cards, one that says, thankful for the community that we found here and the opportunity for social justice work. And this card that says, thank you to the RE team for planting 40 dogwood saplings last Sunday. It's amazing. Right here. Let's let our room hold all that we carry now, and we're going to sing Spirit of Life, our beloved hymn. And as we do, take some time to gaze on the lights and see how much more light than any one chalice they bring. Sorry, go ahead.
Now we receive today's offering. If you can give, thank you. If you're visiting or just not in a place to give, please let the basket pass, no guilt. We use Realm for electronic giving. You can scan the QR code on the screen, text UUFH to 73256, or use the Realm app if you have it on your phone. The default fund is Sunday Split Plate. You can adjust it with the drop-down menu. This month, our split plate goes to Sophia Foz Camp. It's Long Island UU's Clusters multi-generational summer camp held at Lake George every August. Kids, teens, adults, elders, all for the week. Worship, music, swimming. Your gift helps keep it going. We hope you can give generously.
Okay, who's got our fourth clue? Ah, there it is. I was getting nervous. I'm going to come over to you with the mic so you can read it, okay? Okay, I'll come around. Yeah. You want to take that? You can read that. Or I'll just hold it for you.
They try to put it out, but the light is always there.
Thank you. They try to put it out, but the light is always there. What do we think that means? Any thoughts? You can just shout it out. I'll repeat it. What might that mean? How about this, okay? Let me see if I can remind us about what we've done so far this morning. We noticed that there is a flame that's been going here since before any of us got here. Well, at least most of us. We asked ourselves what a chalice is for, what it does and what its origin is, and we found out that it started life as a sign of help in dangerous times. We welcomed what we all bring to the room, and the room itself became a vessel for what we hold and our light. You might say that's a chalice right there that we formed in this room already. That we've been making that chalice this whole week. That we made it, that the room made it, that you made it by showing up here, by coming here this morning. My note here said that the chalice was missing. That is true, because I don't see our normal wooden chalice. But it's also not true. The wooden one is missing from the table, but the real meaning of the chalice isn't. But our last clue that says they try to put it out, but the light is always here. We know plenty about people trying to put light out right now. We saw it right here Friday with our own pride flag that was taken. But the clue reminds us that light is always there, especially when people of conscience gather in community. They know how to find it, which means that it is still here. The actual physical wooden chalice is still here in this room, by the way. It's not. It's somewhere. I know it. Anybody know where it is? Anybody want to help me? Has anybody else been wondering what's under this cloth the whole time? Who wants to come up and find out? Come on up. Let's find out what's under this cloth. Go ahead. Give us the big reveal. Is that our last clue? Oh, that's a pretty scarf. What else? I think there's something under the scarf. What is that? You want to take it out of the envelope? Can you put that right on our table? That looks like a chalice to me. And now that it is on our table, we need somebody to light it. And I see two people right up here. Would you like to light the chalice? We were over here making a chalice out of everything that we could scrounge in the room, but it's been here. The wooden one was right here. So, if you want to take, where is our candle? No, I don't think we need clues for that one. Here you go. So you take this and you light it from here and like that. Thank you. Thank you. What the world can do, what hate can do out in the world is only cover up light momentarily, temporarily. Only cover up light, only try to take down love, take down our show of love. What they cannot do, what hate cannot do, is reach into this room of people of conscience on a Sunday morning here and take what we practice here, these ways that we make room for love, for justice, for noticing the truth of the world, and for engaging with it in ways that make it more loving and just. That cannot be stolen out of this room. It never will be. I am confident of that. We carry that into this room. You carry that into this room, and you carry it out with you into your weeks. So now that we have both, the one we made, the one you made, and the one that was here, 2 chalices. And here's the thing. Each and every one of you have a third one too. The little light that each of you carries. The thing in you that doesn't quiet down, that says yes when somebody needs help. Maybe even the thing that brought you here this morning, that made you want to come here, to seek out other people in this time, to understand what it means. To understand what it means to love the world and to love the hell out of this world. And that's actually what we're about to sing right now, too. We're going to sing This Little Light of Mine as a reminder of what you carried in here and what you will carry out. Let's go to the next slide so we can sing. Now that we have all of our chalices lit. I'm going to say one more round of applause for yourselves for solving the great mystery. For solving the great mystery, which only, of course, reveals more mystery for us. The chalice was missing this morning, sort of. We noticed, I hope, that the flame is still going, and that we have to carry it, we have to keep it going. We asked what a chalice was made for. We brought our joys and sorrows up and made a vessel for us of community. We lifted a cloth, a couple of cloths, and found the wooden chalice right there, right in front of our faces the whole time. The chalice stays here in this room, but the light keeps going as a reminder that help is here. So pass it on. Go in peace.